Hey, everybody. Welcome to Token Nerd Podcast. We ramble on about geeky things ranging from Batman to pop figures to Star Wars. I'm Anthony Pettiford.
And I'm Travis Lykins.
Hey, we're back. All right. So we have been on hiatus for a couple of weeks. Doing a
Still moving the studios around.
As you can tell, we're in a non-curtain filled background. We have some nice walls,
We have toys.
a window. There's
We have a
actually a window in here.
Yeah, so that way if somebody can snatch me, they could just come through the window and grab me and
Because
suck
who
me up.
wouldn't want Travis?
Like Stranger Things.
What? I'm trying to get the.
I can't wait till Stranger Things season 2.
See, well, I don't want to jump off the top without starting our topics, but
It's
season
worth it.
2, I don't feel like season 2 is going to be. I think it's going to be good because I'm excited for it, but
Now that there's
there was hype.
expectations.
Yeah, I mean, because nobody knew. I had no idea what Stranger Things was until like
That's
going
how
into
TV
it.
shows
I had no
generally
idea.
work. That like it's an original property. That's how TV shows generally work.
No, but I mean, like, people have seen trailers, so I didn't even know that it was about kids. I had no idea
okay.
what it was about at all.
Yep.
I thought it was like I thought it was gonna be like a Twilight Zone where each it was episodic.
I will say when I first started watching it, because it was like the first chapter is like called like the
Disappearance of Will.
yeah, the
Will
Will
Turner.
whatever his name is, Will Turner.
Turner.
And I was like, oh, this is
Pirates
gonna
of the
be
Caribbean.
I was like, this is going to be one episode shot. And because the slight press I'd heard about it, because I watched it the first weekend, somebody said it was like the best moments of the X-Files and the best moments of every 80s TV show that you ever, or every TV movie in the 80s that you ever watched. So like, I was like, oh, it's going to be episodic like X-Files.
Yeah.
Where like there's an overarching story, but every episode's different. And then episode 2, I turn it on, I'm like, oh,
Continued on.
it's the same kids.
But I thought it was. I mean,
Actually, wait, let me back it up. My first thought was, holy crap, that was a really crappy way to end an episodic episode.
we never found him.
And then the second episode, I was like, oh, okay, it's going on.
I don't know. I think the acting cast, the kids they cast were great.
Yeah. And that's really hard with kids too.
But it wasn't so much their acting ability, it was how they interacted with each other, because even though I didn't grow up in the 80s, I was a 90s kid.
Yeah, but you watched the
91.
movies.
But it's not just that. It was kids who play nowadays, and I'm just like an old person saying this, don't play the way we used to. Like, we
It's
still
really
rode our
cheesy.
bikes everywhere.
Oh, that you mean.
Like,
yeah.
and even them playing and hanging out with each other, like, you had those points where you fought with your best friend over stupid things, and you were pig-headed, and you could see them, butt heads for stupid reasons, or when the bullies came up, they kind of just like put their heads. It was what kids do,
Yep.
and I thought that was, that was cool. You don't
I liked it. I
you don't
hope
reel that in anymore.
I hope season 2 they are able to keep up the energy
The
and
strangest things.
keep up the feel, and go with it. I mean, I'm excited.
Yeah. So
Go
am I.
Netflix. Keep hitting those home runs, Netflix.
Yeah. So we'll finally get started with our episode with that short little Stranger Things review. But let's talk about movies real quick. So you're a fan of the Marvel movies, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, burp there.
Well, maybe. Who put it out?
So Fox has
Not a big fan of all those.
I know has just recently attained the rights to none other than Stan Lee.
So does this technically qualify as a Marvel movie?
I would say no there, Travis. No, because Stan Lee is not a Marvel character.
He's just a character.
God.
He's just a character.
But no, so the big news is that Stan Lee has signed over the rights to his life story to Fox, and they're going to create a movie. Now, this movie is not a biopic. I was kind of excited thinking, oh,
we're going to learn all the secrets about how he did things and
yeah. But like his story is actually really interesting about how he was supposed to go off. He was supposed to get deployed, but he stayed because he drew. He was very athletic. He was actually really good looking too. And this is not to slap the man in the face,
He's
but like
pretty good looking for
but
94.
Like, I know, but we watched videos and he was like, oh, like he was a good looking dude. Like like you think back to, they have the stereotype of like a nerdy guy drawing comics or writing comics. Stanley was the man. Like he literally was Stan the man.
Stan the man.
But anyway, so they've just signed over his life, and they're going to make a
signed over his life. They just signed over his will and testament.
So they're going to use him in I don't want to confuse myself or the listeners, but he is now going to have a movie about him made based in the 70s.
Loosely based on his life.
Where he It's more like a secret agent spy thriller.
James Bond.
Yes. So, um, what do
I-
you expect?
Is
Because
he
I'll tell
play?
you what I think is gonna happen from this, whatever this mess is gonna be. Because like I said, it's non-episodic. It's gonna be Stan Lee as a spy,
Okay.
but
Here's my
okay,
envision of how to make this work. Old man Stan Lee.
Old Man Logan.
Yes.
He's
No,
gonna
no,
get
no, no,
eaten
no,
by the
no,
Hulk and then ripped
no,
out
no, no. So
with a
like
pencil.
old
Excelsior!
old man Stan Lee is kind of like hanging out with like a family or kids or something, and like the kids ask him, hey Stan, we know you did all this stuff for like superheroes and whatnot. Can you tell us about like how you came up with the ideas? And this is him telling his life story, but it's all exaggerated and made up, and he makes himself sound way cooler than he actually was.
Okay.
And it's like a not a mockumentary,
Yeah,
but like
mockumentary.
a mock biopic where it's
Oh,
like
okay.
he's telling us the story, but it's nothing like his actual life. It's just like this is what he wanted his life to be, because Stan Lee is a very
Creative person.
creative person, so he would obviously exaggerate the truth a little bit, probably, if he was telling his life story as a thing. So like I think that would be kind of a cool way to do it. That's probably not how they're going to do it at all.
I agree. But what I see happening is this will be there's no like cut to the future. Maybe at the very end there is, but it's going to be Stanley as this writer, and someone says, "Oh, Stan," or
Why is this person talking to him
I
older
don't know.
than the real
This
Stan
is
Lee?
how his secretary talks. Ah,
Yeah,
Stanley, you write the best stories. Where do you come up with them ideas? And then he's like, Excelsior, I don't know. And then it like cuts.
Why is he the Jello man?
I don't know, but either it cuts out to one of two things: either he's already an agent, or like he gets pulled in by the like special like the CIA or something
The
to carry out a
FBI.
mission. But while he goes on these missions, like he will see their secret base is like a helicarrier thing. So that's where he gets the idea for a helicarrier. They are facing up against super soldiers, and that's where he gets the idea for Captain America and the Super Soldier.
Yep.
But since Fox has it, I think it's going to be mostly Fox properties.
Yep.
Which
But
kind
I
of takes
think
out
like
Spider-Man, but there'll be if this is going to be the biggest Easter egg movie of all time.
yeah, it's just going to be like, oh, here's a cameo from somebody else.
But like it's going to be not so much.
It's going to be the reverse Marvel movie where Stan Lee's the cameo in every movie. It's going to be like, oh, here's Logan.
But no, not like you see the characters, but like
Here's Hugh Jackman eating a sandwich.
no, nope. Like so, for example, he sees a guy fighting, or he like faces off against an enemy,
Yeah,
and the enemy has like claws, and like not claws coming out of his
yeah.
hand, but
This
like
is how he comes
those
up with
tiger
the
claws.
ideas.
Yeah, these are the inspirations for all his ideas of this mission, and so
Yep.
it's just gonna be a jam packed. It's like every single like Easter egg you have cram packed into a Stanley
Yeah, but
spy
like,
myopic.
but you did say like this was going to take place in the 70s, and a lot of those characters were already developed by then.
Yeah, so we could even say like
Except well, even the X-Men. Wolverine was not. So yes, your Wolverine example.
But what I mean is,
If
like,
it's in the early
we will
70s.
say that these people already existed. Like, he knew them. If that's an idea that we're going with, like, oh, he's already been established.
Gotcha.
So who knows?
I
Plus,
think-
the
I
70s
think-
are just fun. Like, people enjoy shooting films in the 70s. Like, there's a 60s feel, there's an 80s feel, but then there's like the 70s, which is just
Stagflation.
Yeah.
Which is a legitimate term from the 70s. But I think your idea and my idea could work together.
Dwayne, merge together. Like
Yeah,
a
like
fusion.
if what's going on in your story could be Stan telling us about it,
Mhm.
Like I think that's the only way this works.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just going to be this ridiculous movie with like, oh, look at this guy. I bet if I put that in a comic book, it would be awesome.
Excelsior. No, that's not getting the voice. I have to say Excelsior. But no,
He was at a Black Sabbath concert. He was like, yeah, oh man, what if Spider-Man did that?
the horns. Now add the thumb.
Actually, that was already a thing. So he'd had to be like
This is a
something
thing?
from the 60s, like some rock band from
He's
the 60s.
like, hey, Joan, I have an idea.
He was at the Beatles concert. Yeah.
But no, so basically with this idea, there's no actors, no writers, nothing has been set in stone yet. It's just the rights have been bought for this purpose.
What if this was just the biggest waste of money ever?
So here's a sad thought. And I don't want to put it out there and be jinx it and then be the biggest asshole on the internet, but I feel like Fox jumped on this opportunity because they don't think Stan's gonna make it for
They
another
wanted
two.
to get it before the end.
They want to start making it so that
I mean, no, he's relatively old. Like even if he's in good health, like at that age, like anything can happen.
Yeah.
You know,
And so they were so I think
we're
they're
not trying to
banking
be
on
mean.
I know, no, I agree, but I think they're banking on that. Even though I've heard interviews with Kevin Smith where he talked about how Stanley has fallen down the steps in front and just bounced up.
Well, here's another question though. So they bought the rights to Stan Lee to make this movie, right? Did they
Mhm.
buy the rights? Like, I wonder if they like backdoor dealed, like, oh, we actually could get the Stan Lee real biopic.
I
Like
think so. No,
at the same,
I
they
think
just
that's
bought
what
the
it's going
rights to
for.
Stan Lee because maybe they're like, oh, we'll make this ridiculous movie, and then 5, 10 years later, we'll make the actual like, here's how your comics came to be movie.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
No,
So I wonder if they kind
I
of
think they
like,
got both because let's be honest, if this idea flops, they can do a biopic of someone who just passed away and people will love it. And a
Steve
biopic is
Jobs.
so much quicker to make and easier to make.
Yeah.
And even
Steve
though
Jobs.
the annoying part is you can't sell a Stanley movie. Yes, we'd go see it, but like Steve Jobs attracted people because there was so much drama in it.
The second one didn't attract a whole lot of
Well,
people.
I know, but what I'm saying is people were interested because it's like, oh well, Steve Jobs was kind of a jerk.
But he was
Stan
like a
Lee from
crazy genius,
Yeah,
you know.
but Stan Lee at the same time, yeah, there was an issue with Jack Kirby, and even the whole Marvel being separated and POW and all that junk. But
I think
he
the most
wasn't.
interesting,
For the most part, he was actually just a good guy.
the
No
most
drama.
interesting part of that movie would be 2 points. One, whatever's going on with him and Jack Kirby, and then two, when Marvel is getting bankrupt basically and about to be sold off. I think that would be the most
Yeah,
interesting part of that movie because otherwise, I mean, yeah, it's like the daily grind of like, ooh, you're gonna get. Well, I guess you would get some. Hey, what if I made a character that did this? That'd be cool. But then you're gonna get that. But I think the real interesting parts of that movie are the hard times.
yeah.
Not the necessarily
So
good times. I
if
guess
if Facebook had social media or what's it called? What was the Facebook movie called?
Facebook. Oh, you mean the social network?
Social Network.
Yeah, I was like, what are you
So
talking
what do we
about?
call this movie? If we had a biopic for Stanley, we call it Soapbox,
The cells,
Between the Cells, Outside the Cells, Outside the Box, Turn the Page, Next Page,
something like that.
The Silly Books. No, but
Excelsior, the story of
that's
Stanley.
it. It's duh. It should be Excelsior! Exclamation point. And if he dies, 2 exclamation points. I hope he
just
doesn't
for
die because Stanley. Well, I am hoping to meet him at Cincinnati Expo. This is the last time he's coming to the Midwest.
I can't blame him.
In 2
Traveling,
weeks.
traveling's got to suck at that age.
I mean, he's 90,
4, right?
94,
94.
96? Yeah, I mean,
he's like 93, 94 because I'm pretty sure he's the same age as the guy I visit when I go to California, and he gets around as good as Stan Lee does. He just never drew comic books. But there's like it's awesome to meet people of that age just because of like all the information.
he's 93.
Yeah, 93. So he's like the exact same age as the guy that I hang out with in California, that I stay with when I go to California. But like it's so awesome to hear their stories and like the information that they have and like the things they've been through. Like think about this, people. When they were born, they like their only interaction with the world was newspapers and radio. Since then, TV, the internet, cable, like all this stuff, like everything has changed.
Lifestyle has
Cell
changed, yeah.
phones, like everything is so different in their lifetime compared to like, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's different in our lifetime, but like it's crazy when you think about how much has changed.
But even my dad mentions that he had a cell phone that was bigger than his
Oh yeah,
head,
yeah, yeah,
and now he has one that is on his wrist.
yeah. But when those guys were born, like the Model T was the main form of car transportation that didn't go over the like 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And prior, like if 10 years before that, 15 years before that, most people never went more than 20 miles from their house.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Well,
sorry, we were off
no,
topic.
I know, but let's stay off topic for a second, just with that thought. So for us, even our parents, we grew up with, or says my dad. My dad watched Star Trek and Star Wars.
Yep.
So we grew up with like, this was on Star Trek. Like this
Yeah.
inspired. So their generation are seeing things that they couldn't even comprehend having.
Yeah.
Like what for us, if they I'm still waiting for a eye or a contact that has or a, contact lens
But you're
that
still waiting on
has all my phone
the
information.
PlayStation 9. Remember that commercial when it was like inside your intelligence?
Yeah.
Like it's like,
But,
oh,
like,
this is the future, but it's really a
we
PlayStation 2 commercial.
like, with those kinda science fiction hits, like, what would happen that would really, like, expand our minds? Like, someone
I
NASA and I was at NASA, someone just recently released a map of the Milky Way. They're building a map of the Milky Way,
yeah.
and it's a 3D model because you can't have a flat model of the universe, but, like, it kinda blew my mind that we now have a 3D map
Yeah.
of something. That blew my
Yeah,
mind, but we don't have that
but
anymore.
I think like the problem that I see with the world, and maybe this is just me getting old, is that as things become more and more digital. So like on an average, like I mean, I work 100% in a digital environment. Like printing is like a very rare thing. You're on your phone, which is a 100% digital environment.
Mhm.
You watch TV, which is a digital environment. Like everything is digital now. And like people like me that still buy all this stuff and like stack it around my house, we're a dying breed. Like people want to like get less and less, like, and which is good and bad because sometimes these collections become like overwhelming. Like, oh, what am I going to do with all this stuff? Like, and you don't want to like burden somebody when you die. Like, oh, what am I going to do with all this stuff? Like when
Yeah.
those people have to deal with it. But like, I think what we're losing is this. Like, I hear artists talk about it a lot. Well, I could just take a picture of that and look at it on my phone. But like, digital never captures like the actual like thing in front of you. Like, I mean, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. Oh, that looked really good in the pictures, but it looks like crap in person. But like other times it's like, wow, this didn't look as good in the picture. This thing looks amazing when you hold it in your hand. And we're slowly losing that. And because we have a device at our fingertips that knows everything that man has ever needed to know, nobody's remembering anything. So like the concept of learning seems to be like slowing down. I find myself even doing this where it's like, well, I got to look this up. I'm like, man, like 5 years ago, I knew this. Like,
I
and like, I feel like I don't know anybody's cell phone number if I met you after like 2006.
Yeah. I
Like,
agree. I think what we've memory-wise, like you said, people don't remember things. Memorization has gone away, but
yeah,
steps because of phones, you have to go from one step to another to get somewhere. We can remember by steps, like a process. I don't know what the right word is, but like I know point A leads to point B leads to point C, but I can't remember how to instantly get to C. Like I can follow the trail
yeah.
if that makes any sense at all.
And it's just, and the other thing too is like the concept of the internet has made everybody think everything should be free. Like, I hear this all the time. Well, I just pick a picture of that artwork. I don't have to buy it. Like, if you enjoy it, why wouldn't you want to buy it?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'll just take a picture and print it out and hang it up. What? Who's gonna who wants to just hang a bunch of like printouts up on the wall?
Yeah,
Like,
who would do
no,
that?
no, I mean like original artwork, not like a poster from like a movie cover or whatever. But
I
like
was very specific to what I did.
no, but I mean like we did that to create a studio. We
Yeah.
didn't like I mean, I'm talking about like you want like an original drawing from Jack Kirby.
Oh, yeah.
Like, who wants? Oh, I'm just going to print that out, hang it up on the wall. Oh, look at this Jack Kirby drawing I got. Nobody wants that.
Well, I was
Like,
talking to someone. We're gonna keep rambling on about these one topic, but no, I talked to a guy I knew at a Comic Con. I think it was C2E2 2 years ago,
yep.
and he was talking about how he wanted a. Well, it was Jack Kirby. It was someone else from the late '60s, early '70s, but he wanted one with like smudge marks on it. He didn't want a perfect
Oh, yeah.
piece.
He wants like where
He
it erased or got a thumb mark on it,
Yeah, you want
because you
that.
know that that's real. Like, because nobody would replicate that.
Well, there was one guy who has it, Bob Kane went to this pizza restaurant. It was
Okay.
this weird story. It was early '80s because he was already kind of older near the end of his life, and he had drawn, but he had drawn Batman on
Yep.
the back of it was a napkin or it's like a placemat, and gave it to the guy, and it was like, oh wow, look
It's
at
going to
this.
be worth something someday.
Yeah, even though people like you hear the story and no one believes it now. Like now everyone's popping up with like this Batman picture. Like,
Yeah.
wait a second, that's the animated series Batman. Get out of here. But no, for the sake of time, because we just spent
that's
almost 20 minutes on.
that's a real conversation.
It
Right
is a
there.
real conversation
Like,
because as silly as this is, I'm excited for this, and I'm excited for what this could be. Like, I would
Oh, the movie.
yeah, the
Back to
movie.
the movie. I was
Yeah,
like,
back to the movie. Not
you're excited about the dumbing down of the society?
not the 16 other topics that we covered out of that one. But no, if we're gonna just quickly move on to our second topic, and that is the new Justice League Batman suit. Um, so everyone's favorite director, Zack Snyder, tweeted out an image of Batman, which was Ben Affleck in the suit. It is a tactical Batman suit. If you look at the image,
He's ready to go.
it kind of has a little bit more armor, not
It's like
the
a
armored Batman, but
yeah, it's like in between armored Batman and like jumpsuit Batman.
it but he has goggles on, so he looked like Night Owl
Or
from
yeah, because he had the regular suit on under Nightmare Batman, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
not well, there was Nightmare Batman, then there was armored Batman, and then there's tactical Batman. But tactical Batman,
Batman's got too many suits. I can't keep
yeah,
up with this,
he
but
looks like Night Owl from Watchmen, which was another
yeah,
Zack Snyder movie.
yeah.
But it, I don't see. I don't know. Something about goggles for me just isn't cool. And I know
Batman
as
and
as a
goggles.
geek, I'm like, hey, I want his eyes to look like they do in the animated series, and they could technically light white, but
That's a
just
cartoon, people. I don't know if you know that. Batman didn't have that before a cartoon.
no. Well, he did. He had them in the comic books. He did, but it wasn't until the animated series that made them. They reflected emotion.
Yeah,
Like they didn't squint. They would just always stay the same.
but it's kind of illogical for a rubber suit to like move.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Deadpool pulled it off, but like obviously there's a lot of CG stuff in there. But
Mhm.
you know, like I kind of want to see Ben Affleck's emotion in his eyes, like when he's in the suit.
Yeah. But I think he did a really good job with his weird his mouth, like his jawline. It really like there wasn't like it wasn't exaggerated, but you could tell his
Yeah.
emotion based on.
I will
his
say
jawline.
this though, the advancements they made in um, the Dark Knight series, where they actually made it to where he could turn in the rubber suit, like he could turn his head a bit, and they pointed it out too in the movie too.
Yeah.
They totally reneged on any of that learning in the Batman versus Superman, because his suit is like rubber suit to the a million, you know.
Oh no, this one can turn his head because in this one,
In the tactical, not the rubber suit that he had for the Batman versus Superman. He was still really like rigid as far as his head. 'Cause the cowl was like very
it,
still had the turn, you know.
I know there was a little bit of silence there, but no, because it. I want to argue with you, but I feel like that's not a thing. I feel like he was able to turn his head a lot. It's just the fact that Ben Affleck's neck is a freaking muscle, and he couldn't move because of the muscle in the man's neck.
I no, pretty sure the cowl was just like because it was a solid piece.
I know. I'm not gonna give the Nolan movies anything over.
Well, they pointed out, hey, I need to move my neck, like because that was like a joke about the '90s Batmans, is that the rubber cowl you couldn't move your neck.
But
So they
but
built it into
I
where
know, but
like
that's because they actually made out of rubber. This one was the idea that it's made of a material that is bulletproof. It's almost like Kevlar.
yeah, but it's made out of rubber because it's a prop. Like,
Well, this is going nowhere because this could turn into another
it's
issue
made out
where
of latex.
Anthony's just going to argue because I feel like I have to defend Ben Affleck.
But no, this one looks pretty cool. I mean, it's
looks
more
cool.
practical than armor Batman. That wasn't really that practical. You're not going to move around a lot in that thing. Like, but it's not as vulnerable as basic Batman versus Superman.
We don't know what it's for. We don't know how it's going to.
Well, I'm assuming it's for tactical. Since it's called Tactical Batman.
Anyway. We don't know what's going to pop up. It might pop up during the big battle scene in the sewer that everyone keeps talking about.
Maybe they'll acknowledge the fact that the armored Batman was a little too armored to like move around on a regular basis.
But that was specifically made to
fight Superman.
And like, hey,
why is Batman turning into the Iron Man? Like, I got a suit for everything.
Well, see, I would argue that
Batman's always had multiple suits.
yeah,
though.
Batman's
That's not
always
like a
had
new thing.
multiple something. But no, so keep an eye out that because that's going to come out with the Justice League movie made by Scott Snyder. At this point, the only thing we know about Batman is that he's had an armored Batman, Nightmare Batman, the new Batman we've seen now, the tactical Batman.
Does Nightmare Batman really count though?
Yes.
He just has a jacket on and a pair of goggles. Like,
And a scarf
and a scarf.
and a gun.
Well, see, that's why it was a nightmare, because Batman doesn't have guns.
Well, apparently this Batman had a lot of guns. See, I can't defend that.
I don't know. Like, I just think Nightmare Batman, while it's a cool idea, but he just threw a trench coat on. Like, I don't know. That's another suit. That's just another
But it's
like,
cool because
hey, it was going to rain today, so I threw on a trench coat.
but it's the cool thing is, whereas Christian Bale would have taken the cowl off, but then dog like this the entire time with the trench
Hey,
coat on. This
I'm Batman.
Batman, Bruce Wayne died. I guess whenever Apocalypse attacked and this world ended, his real face is Batman. That's why he keeps the cowl on
Oh yeah.
and
Well,
wears
yeah,
the.
yeah,
If we want to get into that science, which
yeah. I
or
mean,
not science,
but
but
I mean,
logic.
Nolan said they were making a Bruce Wayne movie. I mean, they said that.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Well,
like
I
it's a
mean,
totally
look at my
different
phone.
guy.
I have the animated series Nightmare Batman image. But no, so I'm excited for it. I mean,
Oh, I know.
I'm
Like
not excited for this
I'm
movie.
excited for it. I think they're going
Um,
to learn from the mistakes they made. Well, like hearing the complaints, I think the real test was that Batman versus Superman and Suicide Squad had a really bad, um, not just the critics, but even if you went to like the core group of fans and they did those like exit interviews, basically, they didn't get an A. They got like a B minus in a lot of cases. So they missed some points, and I think they're going to take those points, like the actual constructive criticism, not the people just complaining to complain, and they're going to take that and incorporate it, and hopefully make better movies as they go. And I think that's why Ben Affleck wanted to take the reins for the Batman
yeah.
movie. Like
Um,
he's like, I mean that face, the face he made, and like, um, he knew that he could make a better movie, and he knew that Batman deserved a better movie,
yeah.
and I think I have faith that he's
Because
going to do it.
and this is not to really bash on Zack Snyder, but Zack Snyder doesn't make thought out movies.
No,
He
he's
makes
like,
really
how
good
can I make it
action
really
movies.
shiny? Like,
Yeah, he can make really cool action scenes, but he can't. I mean, look at Sucker Punch.
yep.
It looked cool. I mean, it looked great, but it could not tie together.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where he knows how to make that kind of movie. Like, but he didn't, but he was like, oh, I like this part of this comic story, and I like this part of this comic story, and this part over here. So guys, make a script like that.
I guess he didn't write it, so we can't really
But
blame him
but
for
he
everything.
probably had
Yeah,
some,
he had input.
because I remember him saying like Dark Knight Rises was like one of his favorite pieces, right? That was a quote from him.
Yeah, Dark Knight
Not
Returns.
Dark Knight Returns. Sorry. I was thinking of Dark Knight because we were talking about the Dark Knight. Anyway, like, so obviously he wanted to take elements of those movies and bring, or those stories, and bring them in to this movie, and they just tried to tackle way too much stuff. They made a movie that was ridiculously long because they incorporated too much stuff. Like it's like a picture. If it's got 17 things going on, you can't pick out the thing that's
Yeah,
like most important. And that's kind of how I felt about that movie. I never could figure out the most important part of the movie because there's just so much stuff going on that I just couldn't figure out what the story really was.
I just can't wait for. And this is not for the next
Oh,
reboot,
wait,
but
wait, wait, wait. I have to mention one more thing. I tried to rewatch it because I was on a plane by myself and they had it available on the plane, right? I tried to rewatch that movie and could not. I
was
half
it the Ultimate Edition or
It
theatrical?
was the theatrical edition. They didn't have the ultimate edition on the plane, but I was like, okay, maybe just because I was mad when I watched it or whatever, I'm going to look past a couple of things that really ticked me off about that movie, and I'm just going to watch it again. And like I get halfway through and I was like, I'm just wasting my time. Like I'm on a plane with nothing better to do, and I was like, there's nothing here for me. Like it just did not do it for me.
Well, I got the Ultimate Edition on Amazon, and I mean, I've watched it several
I know
times.
that you're like super hyped on the ultimate edition,
No, no,
but
I just not just that, but like I mean, I can watch it. It doesn't. I mean, I still see the holes. I still see those, but like I guess because in those like 5 minutes worth of scenes or like half an hour of scenes, and they're not like there's a half an hour here and half an hour here. It's like 5 minutes or 2 minutes here that
yeah.
fill in a gap. And you're like, oh, that's why that happened. And it's easier
Yeah,
for you to.
but like here's the thing, like back in like 1995, granted I was like 6 years old or a little older. Um, I thought Batman like Forever was an awesome movie. Like,
No, I get.
but looking back on these things, I mean, granted, by the time older people realize like this is a really bad movie, but like um, looking back on these movies, it's going to look even worse because one, the CGI in both of those movies is rough. For like movie quality CGI, they're rough. And like, I'm not talking like Spider Man, like early 2000s or Fantastic Four rough. but it's rough for the amount of budget that movie had.
Yeah.
The CGI is rough.
Well, see,
Like,
this is where was actually my point. So I'm excited because the Batman Forever, all that was okay. So Batman Forever was pretty much Batman 66. That director was
yeah,
basing it
yeah,
66. That moved
I
off
get that.
66, and the Nolan Batman, and even the Dawn of Justice was Dark Knight Returns. So I'm
Yeah,
excited for the next round where we have a director that was born in my era, your era,
yeah,
who grew up with the animated series, and that's what we based it off. Even though that
yeah,
that animated series is based off of the Burst and stuff,
yeah.
but that's what I'm looking for.
Well, and I think like the Nolan stuff is a direct knee jerk reaction to, okay, we got a little out of control with this Batman and Robin stuff. So let's put it and make it a little more rooted in reality and make it more about Bruce Wayne, not about the bat. Like it's a direct jerk reaction because at the time, remember, when Batman Begins came out, superhero movies weren't doing that good.
No, they weren't.
They were still a little rough. I mean, the Punisher and all that stuff was coming out. Spider-Man, you had Spider-Man and X-Men that were doing good, but everything else was and Fantastic Four. Did it do okay? The first one?
Yeah.
I think it did. So like those movies were doing okay. So it's like, okay, Warner Brothers, we'll try to make a Batman movie again. But if you're gonna make the Batman movie, it can't be like those other ones that everybody got mad at us about. And they just said, let's make a more reality based movie. And I know we disagree on this, but those movies were not what the fans wanted, but they were an integral part in what gave rise to this boom of superhero movies, in the fact that they pulled in people that didn't necessarily go see superhero movies because they had the more like drama based, I want to say better acting than in
Yeah.
some of those like other superhero movies. Christian Bale as an actor
Mhm.
is a well respected actor. So and it won a Oscar, right? The Dark Knight Rises.
No, Dark Knight.
Dark Knight won an Oscar. So like,
Or was it just nominated?
no, I'm pretty sure it won. I'm pretty sure that movie won. We can't confirm that, but I'm pretty
No.
sure that movie won. But like those movies put like people that would have never went to see a superhero movie in a superhero movie, and that has continued where basically it kind of helped ride the wave, and I will say pave part of the wave for success for these Marvel movies that are doing so well, because it puts superheroes into the like framework that is life. Like there's kids that are growing up that superheroes will be a part of their life their entire life. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that wasn't the case. Like superheroes were like, oh yeah, I know who the Hulk is, or I know this, or I know that. There's occasional kid that read a bunch of comics, but they were not like widely accepted as an acceptable thing to give your child as a toy and say, here, play with this Captain America stuff. Because it had like this nerd stigma
Yeah.
that if I let my kid play with this, they're going to grow up to be like some stereotypical nerd that lives in the basement and plays Dungeons and Dragons and has a weird ponytail. Yeah, I just totally stereotyped somebody out there. Get mad at me. But like that was like that was the like thought process
Yeah.
with like nerdy culture. And those movies were a part of taking that and making it acceptable. Now, I will say it's over commercialized, a lot of it. Like everywhere you turn, there's a freaking Batman thing, like, or like this or that, and I'm just like, there's nothing wrong with that. But like when Batman looks like the Batman logo on a hat and it looks ridiculous, like because they put like a drip down it and
Yeah,
like all kinds.
sideways. They
Yeah, like
try
no.
really hard to make it.
Yeah, they try to make it something different than just a Batman logo on the hat. Like, no, sorry,
No,
I'm just
it's
on
fine.
I'm on my soapbox.
Yeah, your Stan's soapbox.
So I'll take the quote from the movie. Kind of. These Batman movies may not have been what the fans wanted, but they were what the Batman needed. So this may not be the Batman the city needed. Or say it for me. I don't remember.
No. I'll let you go with what you're saying, but you know what? You know what else Batman needed? A Robin.
I will say
Batman needs
that.
a Robin.
I can agree with that.
And that will be our segue into the last topic.
That we're not getting the Nightwing movie.
No.
That was so expertly teased at the end of that movie.
But okay. Just briefly, because I don't want to spend 15 minutes talking about this. There could not be a movie. I'm telling you, whatever his name was, Robin Blake or whatever, he dies his first night out. I'm telling you that right now. He jumps off the roof and dies. He he
Because he had
he
no
he
training.
had no training
Yeah.
whatsoever,
That's
and
the
he
that's
wasn't
the
even a good cop.
that's the only way that Robin works, is he had like what, like 10 years of training or
Well, he
so.
was already an acrobat, so
Well, that
like
too, but he also had like 10 years of training under Batman before he's like, you know what, I'm going to be Nightwing. Like,
something like that.
yeah, like he's at least 10
Oh,
years, right?
before Nightwing, yeah.
Yeah, like that's at least 10 years that he's working for Batman.
All right. So, but I just want to throw out there right now. So, like we said with the tactical suit, after the Justice League movie, Batman isn't supposed to show up until the solo Batman film that's directed by Ben Affleck.
Yes.
Uh, as of now, we've heard rumor that it's going to be an Arkham movie where it's going to be Batman fighting his way through Arkham, and he's going to come across a bunch of different villains: Riddler, Penguin, Two Face, etc. And then we got a video leak, or
That's
not
way
leak,
too many villains. This is turning into Batman and
but no, it's not like he's going to fight them, but he's going to see them, and
Oh,
I
okay.
want that. I want to
Okay.
see them. But instead we'll see. But Ben actually posted that video of the Deathstroke
Yep. That's like the main villain.
test footage,
Right.
and they said that he's going to be in it, and he might be in Justice League. And then we know that Joe Melangi.
I would say that he's probably in Justice League.
I don't see where he'd fit in, but okay. That aside, there is no word on Robin, but we know there was a Robin, Jason Todd.
Yep.
So Jason Todd was in the movie. There was the point when Joker killed him, which means there had to, there could not be, but Tim Drake, or not Tim Drake, but Dick Grayson had to have been there at some point.
Nightwing.
And then Jason Todd, or Jason Todd was the first Robin.
Or they just make up some brand new Robin.
Yeah, but the whole point of me saying this was over the weekend I saw a video that popped up, and it was Ryan Potter, who is the voice of Hiro from Big Hero 6.
Okay.
He is obviously an actor. He did some stuff on Disney Channel and Nickelodeon, but
Okay.
he is a kid action star, sort
Yep.
of. So he can do all his own stunts, and he's very not flexible, but he knows how to do choreography.
He's really flexible.
he can do stage fighting and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
he knows how to fight for movies, and
So he
martial
posted,
artists.
yeah.
and
So he
whatnot.
posted a video for Ben
Yes.
because he thinks that he should be Robin, not just any Robin, but Tim Drake. And so he has
Asian Tim
this
Drake,
whole
as
Asian
he
Tim Drake, but
says.
we'll get to that. So he has this whole fight scene. It looks really good. He fights with the bow staff. That's what Robin fights with. And at the very end, he says, "Hey Ben, it's like Tim says, Batman needs a Robin, because after the death of Jason Todd, Batman got really dark, as we saw, and what brought him back was the idea of having a Robin. Robin keeps Batman grounded."
Yep.
And so this whole desk footage was really cool. The internet blew up with fans going, "You know what?" Like for me, I was like, "Yeah, this is the kid. He's 21 real life, but he could be 18, maybe 17. I
Yeah.
think people accept 17. That's still a minor.
We'll accept it.
So I would
I
say
approve.
not a 12-year-old, but 16, 17. I think we'd accept. And that's when Tim Drake joined as
Yeah,
Robin.
he was older, right? He wasn't.
Yeah,
Quite,
he
he,
was
wasn't like Damian
older than
or
the
anything.
Robins. But so he made this video. The internet blew up. There are people saying, "Oh yeah, definitely." And then there's those douchebags out there who are like, "But he's Asian."
This isn't a Marvel movie, people. There can be Asian people in the DC universe.
But not only that, but it was something that didn't really matter. I mean,
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Who cares if he's
and
Asian?
he doesn't look. It's like that look.
Here's my thing with people that say that kind of stuff. Get up there and kick walls and stuff like he was doing. Show me how you could be Robin. Do it.
Yeah, bring up someone who. I mean, kudos, because Vin Diesel did it. Van Diesel.
Yeah, Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel.
It is kind of getting annoying though that every time an actor wants to be considered for something, they just like post about it on the internet. Like,
But no, I dig
this
that
guy
because
though,
they get-
like he's not like Vin Diesel doing it was a little like.
But he had no role. He claimed that he had meetings and he didn't. He made
Yeah,
that
yeah,
whole
yeah.
thing up.
But I mean, like this is a little different because this guy's not like a A-lister or B-lister. He's a little farther down the list. Like I'm getting kind of tired of like super big like names being like, "Hey man, I kind of want to play this person." Like,
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Like,
but
get
this
your
kid
manager to
actually went out
call
and
him.
made a video. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
actually
yeah.
showed, "Hey, this is what I could bring to it," instead of
Yep.
being like, "Listen, I'm famous."
Yeah,
the
exactly.
movie.
Like, I mean, if you're Vin Diesel, why don't you just have your actor call whoever's in charge of casting and say, "Hey,
Michael Jai White, he should be Black Manta. That should happen.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, just have him call and just say, "Hey, I want to play Groot." Like, Like, I mean, like,
I have all the talents. It's going to waste.
I mean, like,
Make me a talking tree that says one word. I
but like,
promise I'll be amazing.
why are they just like tweeting like make me a part of the movie? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think they just do it. And it's like if they can get a good enough response, hopefully the people will listen. But I would assume that if you have a character that's just a voice actor, that if Vin Diesel called and said, "I really want to say I am Groot," they would bring you on. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, like, I think anybody could have played that role. I don't think there
Yeah.
was any, like, all the emotion was in the CG. Like, it wasn't in the voice.
Well, so I mean, it's a short story, but like the video's up there. It looks cool.
Yeah,
We'll leave a
he's
link down in the descriptions.
he's a
For
really looks like he's really talented at being like a martial arts guy. I mean,
Yeah.
I was like,
Look at those action moves right there. You should be Tim Drake.
yeah, exactly. Look, I could be that. I could be those people that need to go and actually not complain about this guy and
Yeah.
actually go out there and start punching. But no, like my only thing with it was, and this is just me saying, like, fighting. Good job, man. Let me see you act. I know you're a voice actor. Let me see you act.
But he's done acting roles.
Yeah.
He
I haven't
just
seen
is
it.
known for being hero.
Okay.
But no, so I'm for it. I say not let it happen, but give the kid a chance. If there's going to be a Robin, don't add it for the sake of adding it because people are going to say do it. But like,
I think he's going to need a Robin though to bring him back because this Batman's like out there. He's like far off the ledge here. Like
Yeah.
he's going to need something to help pull him back in. And maybe
Well, after
maybe the
seeing
Justice
him-
League is the
yeah, but after seeing him act with just from that trailer with Ezra Miller as
Yeah.
Barry, that back and forth, you need that.
yeah. But I don't know. Maybe Justice League's when he's going to pull back and become more of a not so much killer Batman to say.
The murderer bat.
Like maybe he's just going to be like normal Batman again.
Yeah.
Like doing detective stuff.
All right, but let's move on to one of our segments for the show, and that is the Nerdy Spotlight.
Woo!
Nerdy Spotlight.
Are we going to get a
Nerdy
jingle for this?
Spotlight. I thought about it.
Spotlight, nerdy spotlight.
All our jingles are us singing, and it's god awful.
All our jingles are exactly the same.
Yeah.
They're the
The
same
same
tone.
beat.
The same tone and everything.
But no, so this Nerdy Spotlight goes out to the Sleepy Robots.
You were just supposed to go with like goes out to Sleepy Robot.
Oh, sorry, Sleepy Robot 13.
Yeah. Is that
but
on
no,
Twitter or Instagram?
That is on, I believe it was Twitter, but this is her Etsy account.
Oh, her Etsy account, Etsy.com.
So when I was in Cleveland a couple months ago, I had stopped and forgive me, I don't remember what the festival was called, but there were a
Horrible.
bunch of art vendors there. And there was just one table that had these little like gray little robot, cute, adorable robot figures like laid across the table, and they were selling them. And that right here, because I actually brought it with me, and so
and he'll do some close-ups.
yeah, we'll do close-ups on it. Obviously, there's probably one already on the screen. Travis, come
Yeah.
on.
Exactly.
But no, so they are these little robot-looking I want to say
Polymer clay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And they vary with different themes. There's some that, and they're all cute as hell.
Yeah, it's a pretty
they're-
cute little guy.
Yeah, so like the one I have right here is an Iron Man themed one. He has a little Iron Man helmet and Iron Man gauntlet.
Yep.
There is one online, especially that I've seen a lot of people, not a lot of people, but people have been posting pictures of it on the comments, and it is of a zombie one.
Cool.
There are ones with eating a cookie. There's one drinking a beer.
Is
there's
there a
one
Hulk?
sleeping. I think there was a Hulk.
There's probably
There's a
Hulk.
Batman one, but there's like a huge array of them. They're all handmade.
Very cool.
So that was the nerdy spotlight of the week. I've been meaning to do this.
How much does one of these run one?
This one I believe was $12.
$12 for a handmade item? Come on, people.
And it was a
And it's an original character with a
very
Iron
exclusive.
Man thing. So it's a little different. But,
Yeah.
So it's an original character mixed with pop culture.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, it's the ones like this where you could only get them at shows.
Okay.
Not
So on
online.
the Etsy, she has different items.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're gonna leave a link on this page on the screen right now that you can click on and go to her Etsy account.
Check it out,
And it's
people.
also down in the description below that you can check out her Etsy site and you can order yourself a Sleepy Bot from Sleepy Bot 13.
Awesome stuff.
Yep.
Love handcrafted stuff. So
And I feel like the whole point of the Nerdy Spotlight is to show off.
bath bombs. How'd those bath bombs go for you, by the way?
They're still in the mail.
Oh, you still haven't got it yet. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry. Dropping that a little.
Oh, don't worry. There'll be a review video.
review video. I don't. Can you please censor it?
It's just like
black bar.
Yeah,
just
it's
like,
a black bar. Black bar's hanging pretty low. All right, so let's move on to the fan mail.
Fan mail.
Fan mail, fan mail. All right. So the first question this week comes from Sam, and Sam says, "Hey Anthony and Travis, with Arrow using several Batman storylines, which storyline or villain would you like to see face off with Stephen Amell?"
Okay. You go first.
All
I
right.
want to think.
I would like to see ultimately get to a Under the Red Hood kind of story, but
Yeah.
it'd be death in the family. I know technically in Arrow both of the sidekicks have died already or have faked their own deaths or
Okay.
have come back, but actually have them die for a while, especially Roy Harper. It would have him die, have Oliver mourn his death, and then him come back. But not as like, oh, we're back and we're friends, but like he'd be like the villain of the story. And I know that kind of Deathstroke, but it's like he has to face off against someone else he created. Now I say it out loud, that is the Deathstroke storyline.
I'm trying to figure out the villain from Batman. That would be the hardest for one.
Well, not hard.
I'm trying to think of the one to be the hardest for Arrow to fight. I think the answer is Clayface.
And that's a great point.
Except it won't work on TV.
Oh no, it could work on TV. I mean, we've just they proved.
I don't know why he would be fighting him though. That makes no sense. Like he has no real vendetta against.
But no, so
Arrow.
And this is, I'll be perfectly fine with them changing the storyline to it somehow he interacts with Clayface and Clayface's origin is based around Arrow and Star City. I'm okay with that. Just like for me, my villain would be the Riddler. I want to see a Riddler episode where, especially with Matthew Gray from Criminal Minds.
But like the
actually posted an image on our Instagram.
I know we're talking like theoretical and stuff like that. The problem with the Riddler is he's like A-lister as far as like Batman villains. Clayface is kind of B-lister. Like
yeah,
they might give him up.
No, I get,
like in real life.
I get that, but so is Deadshot, and so was Clock King, and so they were.
Those are C-listers.
Like, ooh, the Condiment King should show up, but no. In all seriousness,
Onomatopoeia.
But that's an Arrow.
I know. I'm just saying he's a C or D lister.
Anyway, but the whole point is that if I could have a Batman villain, I want to see Riddler because I think that'd be the most fun to
in game. Not in game. What's the 0 year Riddler? It could be destroying Queen City.
Star City?
Star City. Not
Star City's already been destroyed. They can't handle much more.
But
I want there to be more vindictive villains where it's less destroy the city, less destroy the world. It's like what Deathstroke did. I don't like you, Arrow. I'm going directly after you. Like I'm not going to destroy your city to make punish you, but like I'm going to torture you.
And that's Clayface, man. He's a vendetta type villain. He's got a vendetta.
I'm not arguing against you. I think anything would be cool. And I think that Clayface could look cool, and they could even make reasons that he be. But instead of Clayface, I think they might do Metamorpho. I think that'd be kind of cool.
I can see that.
And they could
Who else is like a really vindictive Batman? Like
Scarecrow is pretty vindictive. Scarecrow would be kind of cool.
Ooh, Scarecrow would be good because like you could just use like a mask like they did in the movie.
They kind of have with Count Vertigo. Their Count Vertigo pretty much is a mix of Joker and Scarecrow.
True. That's true. But like I'm just trying to think of like a vindictive, really, really vindictive villain. Like that would be good. But
Two-Face. Two-Face never went after the city. It was all kind of personal and robberies. He's a gangster.
I just think messing with his origin story would not really work.
I know about that. What? Look at Gotham. Gotham screwed everything up.
True. Freeze.
Oh yeah, we're getting ready to do a actually the Mr. Freeze story itself. I like because it was
one on Gotham.
Yeah, because it was the origin.
No, I was saying Freeze could be a good one for because he's like a really personal, vindictive villain for a good portion.
Yeah.
From the animated series portion.
Yeah, I get that. I agree. But no, I was just saying for Gotham, it was the origin of Nora. You get to see their relation before she goes into the cryogenic sleep.
Yeah.
Only thing you guys did right. Aside from that, shut the show down. Shut it down.
I don't think
Please.
Maybe Nora could have been like something to do with his riches and stuff. Like he helped take care of Nora's like cryo tube or whatever. I don't know. Like they could do something to pull that in. Like
there's so much.
We're not writers, people. The Casual Movie Fan was not available to talk about writing.
Yeah, he's busy catching up on homework. That's his latest excuse for why he can't do something. All right, but let's thank Sam. Thank you, Sam, for that question. That was actually.
How about you talking to the mic?
Thank you, Sam. That was very entertaining.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to our next question. And this question is from Shane. And it says, "Hey, guys, after seeing Batman the Killing Joke, and all its awkwardness, I've started to lose faith in DC animation. But if you could have any Batman story adapted into an animated movie, which one would it be? Hope this makes it into an episode, Shane.
Hello, Shane. Thanks for writing. What do you think, Anthony?
Oh, hands down, I think it should go to Hush.
Yeah.
Batman Hush isn't it's a standalone story. It's not within continuity really, so it
Okay.
doesn't need a prequel, doesn't need anything afterwards. And there's a lot that happens, but there's a lot of stuff that you can just cut out. Like there's a whole Superman scene that should be in there. But there's a Catwoman storyline, and then it comes down to the Hush. I don't want to spoil anything,
Yep.
but no, I definitely think it should be Hush. Hush or Death in the Family, and it's interesting because Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy, while at it was the Canada Fan Expo or Fan Con, they were talking about, and they said, "So are you guys done? Are you gonna retire after killing Joke?" And they said, "No, they want to do if like."
Even though every time they do this, it's like, well, if we get to do this one, we're gonna
Of
die.
course, they like these roles and it's fun.
Yeah.
But no,
It
they
probably
said
pays decent.
if they could do Batman Hush, like I just said, or Death in the Family,
Okay.
they said that they would definitely come
I'm
back.
gonna pull a
for it.
wild card. So a long time ago, we went to a Comic-Con at Gym City in Dayton here, and we found the most ridiculous Batman figure of all time. And
Arr.
there's apparently a series of comics where Batman actually is a pirate. And they were dumb enough to make a figure of it, one. And it was like the Batman Legacy or something like that. It's like an old Kenner line that they had.
Have to find it.
Yeah, we have to find one of
We
these.
have to have
Like,
one.
it's seriously the most ridiculous Batman figure I've ever seen. And there's a Robin figure too, apparently. But that, like, I don't wanna, like, because a lot of these DC animation things are kind of serious. Like,
Yeah.
let's get a funny one. Just like, why is Batman a pirate? Because I have never read that series of comics, and it would be like it's a totally new story to me, and everybody's going to criticize it and stuff like that. But if they did it right and made it funny, I think it could work. But I'm a big proponent of how can we get like Batman 66 style back in the mainstream. So
Yeah. Well, do you know there's it's Return of the Bat Returns, or I forget what the title is,
is
but
that
it's
the TV show?
no, they made an animated movie of
Oh, it's a movie. I thought it was an animated TV show.
it's animated movie of the Batman 66 show.
Oh,
Yeah, and it actually has Adam West and Burt Ward.
well, there you go.
Very cool. I don't know if it's out yet, and if it is, I haven't seen it. I've seen the trailer for it in the clips.
Yeah. So swashbuckling Batman. I want to see that.
Do you? And this is completely off for Halloween. 'Cause we're doing Halloween still.
Yeah.
Do you want to go as I'll go as Robin, you as Batman, but we do pirate versions? Like we get the costumes, but then piratize them?
Unfortunately, I've already agreed to be another thing, which I don't know if I want to tell you because it's going to be really cool if you see it and be surprised.
Okay. No. Let it happen. Let it fly. But no, thanks guys for listening to this episode. And those of you on YouTube, thanks for watching this special, the 30th episode of the Token Nerd Podcast.
And as always, we are sponsored by TenaciousToys.com, your source for designers pop vinyl and like all kinds of other stuff. Make sure to check out TenaciousToys.com. And while you're there, if you order a Funko product, make sure to use the code use the code Token10 and you'll receive 10% off of your order.
All Funko products.
There you go.
All right, but if you like what we're doing and you like what we're saying, comment down below. Let us know if you think there should be a Batman animated movie or your favorite story. Comment down below. What villain do you want to see from the Batman universe coming to Arrow? You think the Stan Lee movie is going to be exciting? What do you think about the Night Owl version of Batman costume?
Goggle guy.
Do you think that Ryan Potter should be Robin? We have several questions that could be answered down below, or not answered, but
man, what is up with you and like burping?
I swallowed a lot of air with this beer. But no, there's just answer down below, or continue the conversation with us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Twitter and Instagram, it's token_nerd, and Facebook, it's tokennerd00. Also, you can see all our videos here on YouTube and also at our website, www.tokennerd.com, where you can see not only the Token Nerd podcast, Token Nerd review, Token Nerd,
whatever else we're doing.
I think we put Token Nerd for everything, but we also have the Urban Vinyl Daily weekly wrap up and the Urban Vinyl Daily special,
and whatever else we're
I know
doing.
it sounds like a sexual act, but it's not.
Yeah, and if you happen to rather see us or listen to us instead of see us, you can always check us out on iTunes. Just search for the Token Nerd Network, or Podbean, tokennerdpodcast.podbean.com. So there's all kinds of places. We're on Stitcher too. If you want to, if you have that app. I don't have it, so I don't know, but some people apparently have that. So if you want to listen to us on Stitcher, make sure to grab that too.
All right, folks. Well, like we said, do one of those several things. Also, keep your eye out because, like we said, we're sponsored by TenaciousToys.com, and we will be having a new giveaway.
Or
and
new product.
Not a new product.
Well,
it's a
new to our giveaways.
So keep an eye out for that. As always, I'm Anthony.
And I'm Travis.
Stay spicy, my friends.
Hey everyone, this is Travis Lykins from Token Nerd Podcast, and I'm here today to tell you something about sponsorship. That's right. Token Nerd now has a sponsor. The fine folks at TenaciousToys.com, your source for designer toys, pop vinyl, original art, and more, are now our sponsor. And guess what? As a part of that, you can get 10% off your next order at TenaciousToys.com by entering the code TOKEN10 at checkout. That's right, 10% off. And not only are they giving you this code, they're also going to be sponsoring many of our Token Nerd giveaways in the next coming months. So make sure to follow us at token_nerd on Instagram to catch our latest giveaways.